This video shows how to use dashboard parameters to perform different analytical tasks. For instance, you can use parameters to filter the dashboard dynamically, or you can highlight values using parameters along with the conditional formatting feature. I already have a dashboard that's connected to a database. It has a grid displaying 3 columns: category, product, and extended price. Let's filter the grid by category using a dashboard parameter. Click the parameter button in the Home ribbon tab and then click Add. Change the parameter name to Category. Then specify its description. Let's leave the default value for the lookup settings option as no lookup. We'll use a string parameter. And finally, specify the default parameter value as beverages. Now we're ready to filter the grid with the parameter. To do this, right-click the grid and select Edit Filter. Here, we'll add a new condition, change the criteria operator to equals, and click the button next to the Enter a Value placeholder 2 times. This allows you to compare field values with the parameter value. Click OK to see that the grid will be filtered according to the default category, Beverages. To change the current parameter value, click the Parameters button in the dashboard title and specify a value. For us, it'll be Condiments. Click Submit to see the result. If you want, you can allow end users to select predefined values. Go to Parameters and change Lookup Settings to Static List. Then click the ellipsis button next to Values and add the required categories, 1 per line. Click OK. You can now select the default predefined value from the list here. The Dashboard Parameters dialog allows end users to select the required category from the dropdown. Let's look at a more complicated scenario where category values are stored in a database. Go to the Data Source ribbon tab and click Add Query. In the Query Editor, click the Run Query Builder button and drop the Categories table to the empty area. Enable the All Columns checkbox and click OK. Then click Finish to complete the creating of a new query. Go to the Home tab and open the Parameters dialog again. Change Lookup Settings to Dynamic List and select the SQL Data Source 1 as a data source providing parameter values. Then select the newly created query, Categories, as a data member. Finally, select the category name field as a value member. You can see the value option allows you to select any category value available in a database. Change the default value and click OK to see the result. The Dashboard Parameters dialog allows end users to select any category value available in a database. The dashboard not only allows you to select a single parameter value, but provides the capability to enable multi-selection as well. Go to Parameters and set Allow Multi-Select to Yes. You can see that the grid shows the error in its caption because multi-select parameters cannot be used with the equals criteria operator. Click Edit Filter and change the operator to Is Any Of. The grid will be filtered correctly now. Click the Parameters button in the title and select some parameter values. Add a chart and bind it to the extended price, category name, and order date fields. Let's say we want to filter the entire dashboard using the current parameters values. Clear the filter applied to the grid and go to the Data Source tab. Click the Filter button in the Query group to apply filtering to the salesperson query. In the Data Sources Filter Editor, select the category name field, choose the Is Any Of operator, and click the button next to the operator and value 2 times. Then click the Select a Parameter placeholder. Select Bind to in the pop-up and select the category parameter. Then click OK. You can now filter the entire dashboard by selecting the required parameter values. Note that the data source is filtered using the dashboard parameters not directly, but using the intermediate query parameter. Click the Edit button. You can see that the data source is filtered using the where clause included to the SQL statement. The category query parameter is used along with the in operator. On the next page, you can see that the category query parameter is bound to the corresponding dashboard parameter. Dashboard parameters can be used along with other dashboard features such as calculated fields or conditional formatting. Remove the chart, clear the data source filter, and delete the query parameter. Then remove the category dashboard parameter and click Add to add a new parameter. Change its name to Price Threshold. Set its type to number or decimal, and specify the default value as 10,000, and click OK. To create a new calculated field, right-click the field list and select Add Calculated Field. Specify the expression using the if function that will return true or false depending on whether or not the extended price summary value exceeds the parameter value. Click OK and drop the calculated field to the grid. You can now change the current parameter value to see the result. For instance, the grid shows false for 12,300 because this value is less than 15,000. Let's use the created parameter to highlight cells whose values exceed the parameter value. Click the Extended Price menu button and select Add Format Rule Expression. Then, specify the expression, select the required color for highlighting values, and click OK. As always, change the parameter value to see the changes. And that's it for this video. To learn more about our dashboards, make sure to check out the documentation on our website. Thanks for watching, and thank you for choosing DevExpress.